Hello, it's day 16 of Tour de Fleece. It's Sunday, it's the start of the last full week of Tour de Fleece. I guess a week from today, next Sunday, is the final day. We're under another extreme heat whatever, so this is as dressed up as I'm getting today. There's no way I'm going outside. Not a chance. I'm currently editing, finishing up the video that's going out today. As soon as I'm done with that, today is a challenge day, so I don't know yet what that's going to mean for me. I'm going to first challenge myself to finish the oatmeal BFL bobbin that I'm working on. I would like to get that plied today, even. So maybe today the challenge is speed, efficiency, focus, rather than a challenging fiber. You know? I, of course, have the urge to just spin everything I own during Tour de Fleece, but I can still spin for the rest of the year, so I think focus is gonna be the focus today. We're focusing on focus today. Yeah. So it's an unreasonable hour for me to have not had caffeine, and my favorite cafe discontinued my favorite drink, so I'm gonna make it here. Okay, so at the cafe, it's a brown sugar cinnamon oat milk matcha. I have almond milk, but the rest of the things I have, so I'm just gonna make that. This is me lying about my ability to tolerate a metal straw. I don't know why I own metal straws. No, I can't do it. I'm gonna switch this out for a really stained, reusable plastic straw, and we're just not gonna talk about it. Here is the current status of my oatmeal BFL. I did not get nearly as much done as I thought I would. It turns out cooking and eating dinner and watching Survivor and editing a long video took a bunch of time. Who would have known? Anyway, this is what I'm gonna work on first today, and that's the end of the sentence. I turned on a horror movie to watch while I spin, and it started with one of the worst wigs I've ever seen in my life. The movie is called The Unholy. Check it if you don't believe me. It's so bad. Okay, that movie was, well, the first few minutes made me think it was going to be really bad, and then it was not as bad as I expected, so that's making me want to say it was not bad, but I don't know if that's true. It did have one of the classic horror movie guys in it, so, and it had Carrie Elwes in it. Not Patrick Wilson, the other, I guess Patrick Wilson is the horror movie guy. I'm thinking of the guy who looks like another guy. Jeffrey something? Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's a horror movie guy in my mind because he was in The Possession, I think? Yes, The Possession, 2012. 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. I liked that movie because who has not become obsessed with a box they got at a garage sale? That has happened to me. BFL going well. I took a break from this to eat a food. Now I'm about to do captions for my video, post it, and then back to spinning. So I'll meet back up with you. Well, for you, it'll be 0 seconds. Okay, I've been spinning. It rained, it stopped raining, the windows fogged up. It looks like I'm in a greenhouse. Well, you can't see that at all. All right. I have just passed the halfway mark on this bobbin, so I am trying to spin the second half a little thinner, a little cleaner, so that it's not too chunky, you know? The pattern was written for DK weight yarn. I missed that on my first batch of this yarn that I spun for the project. So I'm just going with more of a worsted gauge, and that's fine. The pattern truly can be knit at any gauge, which is awesome. So mine's just a little bit bigger than anticipated, which is fine with me. I have already talked over my guilt regarding playing kind of fast and loose with a pattern test, so I'm just not gonna think about that right now. But yeah, it's more of the same. It's more of the same. I am gonna change where I'm sitting, I guess. Yeah, I'll show you what I've spun so far, and then I'll probably give one more update at the end of the night, and that's probably gonna be the whole day. This is where we're at. I am running out of things to say about yarn. For reasons that are entirely vibe-based, this is where I'm stopping with this bobbin. I'm gonna wind it into a central pull ball and I'm gonna ply it. That's, once again, the end of the sentence. Okay, I remembered a valid reason to stop before the bobbin was full, and that is the capacity of my yarn ball winder. This is the capacity. Let's ply. We are moments away from complete darkness, so I'm just gonna show you how much I've plied at the moment. I think this is just DK. If this doesn't fluff up a lot in the washing process, I might have some problems. I am literally just spinning thinner these days against my will. People say that as you progress in yarn spinning, you will sort of lose the ability to spin thick yarn, and I think that's happening to me. So I will obviously have updates when this is washed and dried. I know it will fluff up a bit, but I am anxious to see how much. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, it's Tour de Fleece day 17. I got home from the gym and it immediately got extremely dark and quiet, so I'm just standing near a lamp today. I did a fair amount of plying last night, but that ended up being an extremely frustrating plying experience because, oh, here are all of our bowls if you were wondering. Got a lot of tangles. Got a lot of tangles. Almost gave up. At one point I did just break the yarn completely, get rid of the tangled section, and spit splice it back together. I'm not above that. I think I have the tangles all sorted. I'm just holding the center pole ball closer to my face, essentially, so that I can monitor the situation more actively and prevent tangles before they become a huge issue. Also, just less space between the yarn source and the spinner, I guess. I'll show you how far I got. This is what I'll be working on probably on my lunch break, and then hopefully I can finish plying it in that hour, get it soaking. Still hoping it fluffs up a considerable amount. Worst case scenario, I just spin the rest of this wool with that knowledge in mind, and then this thinner skein will be my like backup skein. I might use it mostly for just the fringe or something else. So extra glad that I bought too much rather than, I mean, I initially bought too little. Then when I bought more, I decided to overshoot it just in case. Glad I did that. Okay, we're once again just near a lamp because there is not a bit of natural light today. It's looking about how I expected. I do maintain what I said last night, that I am just spinning thinner these days. What I expect to be DK ends up as sport, what I expect to be worsted ends up as DK. Not an awful problem to have, but I need that foresight, you know? Anyway, I'll update you on my lunch break when I get to plying. Okay, it's raining crazy style, so we're gonna ply to the rain this time. I think some people really like the rain background noises, and then I think a lot of people don't care. I haven't received any complaints. I like doing it, and I like editing that, so I'm gonna keep doing it, but not like all the time, you know? Let's ply. It's done. I'm so glad it's done. Okay. Oh, just kidding. I just remembered the Niddy Noddy. I have tried other methods, by the way. The Niddy Noddy, I'm still considering an upgrade. I don't like using the Swift because it compresses as I wind yarn onto it, and it hurts my shoulders much more to spin a huge thing in a circle for a long time. I have also, I just have to show you this one because it's weird. I will put a bobbin on a knitting needle and then use that to wind around a box or something. That only works with smaller amounts of yarn, so definitely wouldn't work for this. Basically, I'm gonna have my nitty naughty journey on my own time, and I'm not gonna show you me suffering through that again. Okay, bye. Okay, it's done. That took the entire rest of my lunch break. I kind of wish I hadn't chosen to do this on chest and shoulder day, but it's too late. And now this goes into the big bath for stinky boys. Okay, the yarn is washed. It is drying. Not dry, sorry, drying. I have this much left. The yarn I finished plying today is definitely thinner than I want it to be. This, I'm gonna focus on spinning exactly like the first couple of skeins of yarn that I'm already working into this project. I'm gonna turn the tension up, I'm gonna turn the speed down, and I'm gonna focus. We're gonna make it work. I don't know how yet. In theory, that extra skein of yarn is extra. So remember, I ordered more than I needed just in case. I might only need part of it. Everything might be totally fine. I'm assuming things will be totally fine. And I have several months to figure out if it's not totally fine and order even more of this wool. I don't want to do that, but I will. Naughty. This little criminal just caught her clawing at the couch. Anyway, spinning time. Okay, it's basically working. I'm aiming to spin around a sport weight with some like thicker sections because this wool has, I don't know, these like brown bits blended into it that don't draft out super easy, so I'm just letting those be like thick in the yarn, and it's contributing to the rustic vibe, whatever. So this is going much better. Tension up, speed down is definitely the way. I knew that. I don't know why. I don't know. And this is also going pretty quickly, which is nice. I will probably finish this bag, probably not tonight, but between tonight and tomorrow, I'll probably finish this bag. So I'll have another skein this week. And then after that, what am I gonna work on? I don't know. I'll finish Goblin Mode. We don't need to talk about this now. I don't know. I had a dinner break and I'm back and I'm spinning, and I remembered something that I meant to say when I was talking about the movie I watched, The Unholy, because I saw the cast list and I was like, oh yeah, these people are in it, it'll be good. Cary Elwes is in it, and that reminded me when I was a framer at Redacted Frame Shop, there was some guy who came in with pictures of himself with Cary Elwes at like conventions, and I was like, oh cool, Cary Elwes, and he's like, it's actually pronounced Ewells. He genuinely thought it was EWLES instead of ELWES. It's been over a decade and I have not forgiven this man. So wherever you are, I wish you the worst. And I hope you called him that to his face since you've met him multiple times. And I would like to announce that I don't care ever if you mispronounce anything. Ever. I don't care. As long as you don't correct me when I'm right. We can all just chill. Until some random guy needs to correct me. Then I cannot be chill. I can't do it. Anyway, back to spinning. It's actually pronounced Ewells. It's pronounced Ewells. Well, it's done. and it was also brought to my attention that today was supposed to be a rest day. I'm gonna go ahead and reschedule that for Thursday. Thursday works better for me. I'm gonna apply this. Same thing as last night.
Launch the missiles. They should reach Cardassian.
Goes. This is the cave where everything happens. The Maquis live here. The Bajorans are currently resisting Cardassians in a different spot. Let's see. Odo meets a contact from Cardassia in here. Somebody gets stuck under a boulder. The Sword of Kahless is here.
Mike Breaking Bad is here.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. The yarn is done. It is soaking. It looks better. It's just a much smaller skein than I thought it was going to be. I thought that was going to take 2 nights to spin. I obviously thought it was going to be bigger. So that I'm choosing to believe is gonna be fine. And those are my updates for the night. I'm gonna knit some sock. And I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, it's day 18 of Tour de Fleece. I'm so tired today. I thought I was wearing my glasses, just realized I'm not. Sorry if you can hear the cat making noises off camera. I have to brush her while I talk, otherwise she will talk over me. And when I brush her, she makes these little gremlin noises, so it's gonna be one or the other. Anyway, I have my 2 skeins of yarn that I washed yesterday, still currently drying, but I will be able to show you those later today. What else is going on today? I don't know. Not much. I did receive in the mail. I've been slowly collecting enough undyed yarn for a big project I want to do in the fall, but I need to dye all of that yarn, and now I have it. And before anyone tells me, I am aware of the Knitpicks alleged situation, the alleged Knitpicks situation. I'm aware. I am very aware, like, unfortunately so. As we know, I have a diagnosed phobia of insect infestation. So I already take yarn safety very, very seriously. Everything I receive from Knitpicks is isolated, quarantined, heat treated, like above and beyond heat treated. I don't want to talk about it too much. I just want you to know that I know. Yeah. I don't intend to purchase from them until I know more about the situation and know it's handled. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm too grossed out to say more, so just, you'll find things on YouTube, you'll find things on Reddit, you'll find things on Instagram. But anyway, I had to get matching yarn, so I did keep ordering from them. So point being, I think I'm gonna dye some yarn soon. Honestly, it probably won't be until this weekend. So that doesn't make this vlog more exciting. You're kind of getting all of my boring days in a row. This is gonna be a really chill one, I guess. Anyway, that's my morning update. I will come back when I have yarn things to show you. I'm gonna find my glasses first thing. Okay, back from the gym. I am marginally more put together. Here is the huge Oatmeal BFL skein. I have to hang it up to visualize like how huge it actually is. I haven't weighed this one. I haven't weighed either of these. I'll do that. I will do that. That's pretty big. Here's the little bitty one. Here's the little one. Let me go weigh these real quick. 179 grams, 53 grams. Great. Okay, so this is 3 times as much as this, weight-wise. It's way, way more in yardage because, once again, I spun this too thin. Not all of it. Again, I was going for like a little bit of thick and thin to keep it rustic, but I overdid the thin part. We've talked about this. I'm still upset. Anyway, 2 things. So way back, remember when I was talking about, this was months ago, I've had this on a bobbin for a while. This was just trying to get through this wool, trying to just let it do whatever, just something to get this out of my system, you know? So the leftover black from the Peat Bog and Raven yarn, I was thinking I might ply it with this. That could be fun. Or I might thread ply this, maybe do something. Like I've never done a boucle yarn. I would love to try that. So I have this on standby. I have that extra black also on standby. They may become friends. The other thing is I remembered I spun this sample of, I have no idea, on my drop spindle, obviously. And I'm thinking this would be a good small amount of yarn to experiment with a plying bracelet. I know that there's no specific advantage in this case. Again, I just think experimenting with a small amount that I don't have any plans for is a good idea. So that's actually what I was gonna do right now. I found a really good video on YouTube that explained it really well. I'll link it in the description. And if I do it wrong, don't yell at me because I'm gonna do it on camera right now. I will try to talk through the process, but I'm gonna be focusing pretty hard. So I'm just tucking this looped end into my watch band. Ooh, it's the starting part that I don't remember how to do. One moment. Okay, I think I got it. This isn't a tutorial by any means. Just heads up. I'm wrapping, yes. This looks right. This looks right. Can I just say the difference in the distance between my thumb and my middle finger? Should I be doing it like this? I don't know. It looks funny. Okay. We're getting to the green. I wish I could remember what this was a sample of. I'm sure I said it in one of my other videos. It's probably from Hip Strings or Friends in Fiber. It's really easy to get distracted and forget what section I'm on, but overall I think this is not as hard as I expected it to be, unless I'm doing it completely wrong. I'll find out soon enough. So my goal here is strictly just trying something I haven't tried before. That's it. Just experimenting with techniques that could help me in the future. I assume the reason that this is preferable to creating a center pole ball or cake of yarn is that this doesn't add or remove twist. Again, that's in theory because I'm moving this thing all over the place. I could accidentally be adding or removing twist, but not as much as winding a center pole ball would. I am so glad I spin all the samples I receive. I'm not a blue person, but the rest of this I love, and I love the color combination. It's not something that I would wear, but I really enjoy looking at it. It is starting to get tight on my middle finger. I know I can take it off my hand and put it on my wrist and start over, but I'm almost done. I don't really care. I'm probably not gonna die. But as always, don't be me, do it the right way. Okay, so I'm gonna tuck this into my watch. Okay. And grab these ends together. This end is just crazy thick because it's what was on the leader and I didn't really care about it at the time. And it's just gonna go back on the leader, so who cares? On the drop spindle, I tend to spin my singles S instead of Z, and I didn't know this. I didn't realize until I got my e-spinner and started plying something that I had spun on the drop spindle. So I don't even remember when I spun this. It's gonna take a moment to get familiar with the yarn again and figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. I think that's the right way. Yes. Okay. I am so guilty of not adding enough twist when I ply on the drop spindle. So I'm trying to really focus on that. This is a little tricky for a drop spindle. I think this is not specifically for drop spindle, but probably spinning with a wheel. It's not impossible. It's not super difficult or cumbersome or anything. It's just a little fiddly. Actually, maybe it's totally fine and I was just judging it too early. Never mind, this is super easy. I like this technique quite a bit. Here we go, now you can see a little better. Just kidding. I actually don't hate this blue at all. The way it's mixed with this green, it looks pretty cool. Ooh, calm down. I'm sitting here thinking, man, I love a 2-ply. I know everyone's into like 3-ply fractals right now, and I am too. I love that, don't get me wrong. But wow, I love a 2-ply. I just think it looks cool. That's all. The real question is, what am I going to do with all of my samples that I spin? What am I gonna do with all the samples that I dye? I have no idea. I think eventually it'll become a scrappy project, but you know, I'm always collecting and creating different weights of yarn, so maybe this becomes a situation where I make everything into a little granny square and just make sure the granny square size is the same. Oop. So that it can eventually become something. That's my best idea at the moment. If you spin your samples, let me know. What do you do with them? And or if you are a yarn dyer and you dye mini hanks, what do you do with those? Because I practice on mini hanks. And then I just hold on to them. And often the mini hanks I dye on are not even the same yarn as what I do the final dyeing on, because I will just dye whatever I have. I know it's not going to look exactly the same on different yarn bases, but I figure if I can get an idea of the color layout, that's mainly my goal. Okay, I've kind of been filming for a while. I'm assuming I'm going to speed through all the parts where I'm not talking, but I have kind of been talking a lot, so this section might be kind of long. Sorry, I heard screaming in the hallway. I had to go check that out. Here it is up close. It looks very different on every layer. So this top layer with the green and the golden brown. Very cool. Love that. Whoops. Lost this. But it is the perfect length to be able to just tie the ends together and not use any extra yarn. Yay. What a cutie. Ta-da! We have this little weird part sticking out. Don't worry about that. Yay! Okay, I'm glad to finally have that off my spindle. I say finally, I don't remember when this happened. Multiple months ago, at least. Haven't drop spindled in a while. Cool, okay. I will see you after work to do something. I'm now the cleanest I've ever been. Time to pick up Goblin mode. If I remember right, I said low tension, high speed. That sounds right. Here's where we're at on Goblin mode. Still hairy. Still hairy. I'm being irresponsible. I left Zucchini on the stove to come over here and record this while I have the light. But then a little baby got on my lap She wants me to burn the house down. Maybe I will. Hello, it's day 19 of Tour de Fleece. I forgot to say anything last night. Here's what I finished. I stopped early so I could catch up on editing. Let's switch views. Here it is, the hairy baby. Here's the other hairy baby. I think it's going well. I don't have that much else to say. Here it is from another angle. There is very little left of Goblin Mode. I can easily finish that tonight. I'm holding these, don't worry about it. I'm going to knitting night at the library tonight, and I'm gonna bring my wheel, so I need to bring another fiber to work on. I'm thinking the Polworth, because honestly, it's my most impressive spin, and if I'm gonna go spin with the library ladies, or I'm gonna spin, they're gonna knit, but still, I wanna bring the impressive one. Plus, I'm gonna be there for 2 hours. The Goblin Mode is not gonna last me 2 hours. That's the plan. Okay, I'm getting ready to go to Knitting Circle at the library tonight. This is what I was laughing at. Don't poke yourself in the eye. What was I saying? Getting ready to go to the library. I have this big craft bag that I received years ago as a gift, way before I owned an e-spinner, but it just coincidentally fits the e-spinner and some bobbins and some fiber really well, so I'll show you this giant bag. Giant bag. So a compartment that fits the wheel itself and a bag of fiber. I should probably take the bobbin off before I travel with it, but and then several pockets. I have more fiber, extra bobbins. I don't know what's in there. The wheel, instructions and accessories, and secret third thing. Oh, that's more fiber. And then in the top it has this, and I don't know what that's for. If that's not for a bunch of yarn, then I don't know what this bag is made for. I will see you at the library. Pre-filming an outro because I just remembered today is the last day of this vlog. So I will show you what I can at the library, and then I will see you in the next one. Bye.